Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Deputy Vice Chancellor Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnerships, the Registrar, University Librarian, Provost of the College of Medicine, Dean of the Faculty of Education, Deans of other faculties, the postgraduate school and of students, Directors of institutions and centers, Heads of departments, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The 409th and the 10th in the series of the University of Ibadan inaugural lectures for the 2016-2017 session will be delivered by Professor Olawale Akanbi Moronkola of the Department of Human Kinetics and Health Education on behalf of the Faculty of Education. Born on 31st May 1960 to late Pa Stephen Oladipo Moronkola of Ileorin Teshi, Awe and Madam Grace Bamidele Moronkola ní Kẹ́hìndé of Ile Basi, Awe, Professor Olawale Akanbi Moronkola, a fellow of the Nigerian School Health Association, had his primary school education at Baptist Day School, Iwo, between 1966 and 1968, and St. Peter Anglican Primary School, Isono, Ilesha, between 1969 and 1971. He had his secondary school education at St. Lawrence Grammar School, Imo, Ilesha, between 1972 and 1977. Thereafter, he taught at a primary school in Ibodi, Ilesha, in 1978, when he gained admission to the Oyo State College of Education, Ilesha, where he obtained the NCE in Natural Science in 1981. He participated in the National Youth Service Corps scheme in Ogun State. He taught for a year at Methodist Secondary School, Fidichi. He was at University of Ibadan, here in Ibadan, and obtained B.Ed. Hons, Physical and Health Education with second-class upper division in 1986, M.Ed. Health Education, the grade to proceed to PhD direct in 1988, and PhD Health Education in 1995. He also obtained MS Special Education in 1993 from the University of Birmingham. He was at Galilee International Management Institute in Hala, Israel, where he obtained a certificate in management of higher education institutes in 2014. Prior to his service in this university, he served as Lecturer 3, Lecturer 2, and Lecturer 1, respectively, in the Department of Physical and Health Education, Federal College of Education, Special Oyo, between 1st of November 1988 and 31st of January 1994. He joined the Department of Human Kinetics and Health Education of this university as Lecturer 2, which effect from 1st of February 1994, and was promoted to Lecturer 1, 1st October 1997, Senior Lecturer, 1st October 2000, Reader, 1st October 2004, and Professor, 1st October 2007. He has over 130 publications, consisting of 5 books, 40 chapters in books, 2 articles in edited referee conference proceedings, 1 technical report, and others in journals spread across institutions, associations, and countries. He has supervised several bachelor and master degree projects and 16 completed PhD theses, and 2 are also due for defense later this year. Within this university, Professor Moronkola has served in various capacities, including congregation representative on Senate for many years, member as a professor since 2007, Senate representative on Center for External Studies between 1998 and 2002, Senate representative on University of Ibadan Sports Council 1999-2000, congregation representative on Students' Welfare Board between 2001 and 2002, Faculty of Education representative on junior staff appointments, promotions, and disciplinary committee in 2000, Senate representative on Board of Extramural Studies between 1998 and 2000, senior staff disciplinary committee, member or chair of disciplinary issues in some halls of residence, member telephone committee, member Board of Health, something undergraduate Faculty of Education between 1997 and 1999, assistant hall warden of Obafemi Awolowo Hall, member Faculty of Education Appointments and Promotion Committee from 2001 to this, warden Independence Hall between 2004 and 2010, member Ad-hoc Committee on University of Ibadan, Policy on Authorship and Scholarly Publications, Dean Faculty of Education between 2013 and 2015, and currently Hall Master, Kuti Hall, 1st of August 2015 till date. I want you to applaud that. Outside this university is among several others an ordained deacon at Shalom Baptist Church, Orogun, Ibadan, since 2001. Member, Management Board, Doctors Hope Alive, that's a faith-based NGO, an NGO arm of Christ Life Church, Ibadan. Alumni, 5th Association of African Universities Management Development Training Workshop held at University of Cape Coast in 2014. Justice of Peace, Oyo State, 2001. Chairman, Bowen University, Iwo Visitation Panel Committee in 2016. Currently advisor on establishment of Faculty of Education in Bowen University. Consultant and facilitator on university teaching to some universities, and consultant facilitator on DFID Abuja, NERDC Sheda Abuja, Nomadic Education Commission, UNICEF, WAEC, Federal Ministry of Education, Abuja, and SUBEB Oyo State on school health program, book development and curriculum in health education, radio and TV analyst on health and education matters. Professor Moronkola has served as external examiner for bachelor, master, and PhD degrees to many universities, including University of Benin, Benin City, University of Lagos, University of Maiduguri, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Olabisi Onabanjo University, Ago-Iwoye, University of Education, Port Harcourt, Adeleke University, Ede, Lagos State University, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Ekiti State University in Ado-Ekiti, and University of Education in Ghana. Professor Moronkola is happily married to Dr. Olufunke Dorcas Moronkola, a senior lecturer in the Department of Chemistry in this university, and the marriage is blessed with children. I now call on Professor Moronkola to deliver his lecture titled School Health Program, a Jewel in Search of True Love.
The Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Deputy Vice Chancellor Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnership, Registrar, Librarian Provost of the College of Medicine, Dean of the Faculty of Education, Dean of other faculties and postgraduate school, Dean of Students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. With honor and gratitude to Almighty God, the God who will continue to be and who will not share his glory with any being, do I stand with all pleasure to honor the gracious opportunity and privilege of presenting this inaugural lecture in the series of 2016-2017 edition of this great university on behalf of my faculty, the Faculty of Education. It is a dream come true that I started another inaugural lectures of the university since my first year as direct entry undergraduate student during 1983-1984 academic section. The Dean of Students, Professor M.K. Akinshola's support for me to get this platform is highly appreciated. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, on many occasions, human beings, especially Nigerians, put spirited fight on issues because they really have genuine interest, but because of what they are to gain out of it. At least, we are witnesses of activities of our leaders in different sectors of our national life. When I had the opportunity to lead Faculty of Education as Dean, part of my desire was to present our faculty in the scheme of things in this university. One of it is a letter to the chairman of Committee of Provosts and Faculties on the need to increase the slot of opportunities to present inaugural lectures by interested professors in Faculty of Education. More so, the Institute of Education is also to share out of the annual slot. Statistically backed up with data on number of professors to strengthen my request, the request was subsequently granted by COPD and the Senate of University of Ibadan. I never imagined I would be the first beneficiary when call for nomination for inaugural lectures for this academic section was made. 2 slots were given to Faculty of Education, which were shared between Faculty of Education and Institute of Education, respectively. But we had more than one nomination from Faculty of Education, and rightly, the only slot to the faculty was given to a senior person who not only showed interest, but also ready to present at any available opportunity. In my usual calm of taking whatever before me, after hard work and prayer, I told the dean that he should put me on waiting list and inform his successor accordingly when he's leaving office. Though my memory failed me to remind him on the extra slot given to the Faculty of Education during my tenure as dean, it gladdens my heart when my dean saw me on corridor with a colleague one afternoon and reminded me of the extra slot given to the faculty during my tenure and promised to write the university management to make though his promise. Around 9:30 p.m. few days later, he informed me of the approval and demanded I should forward to him that night or the following morning the title of my paper for inaugural lecture, which I quickly did. Mentors who have presented previous inaugural lectures in my department were late Professor J. Adedeji of Human Kinetics Education Unit, whose lecture was on functional sport, the modality for growth and development. Professor C. Oudo of Health Education Unit lecture was on the collage, that is health education. And late Professor J. Ajala of Health Education Unit lecture was on health education in wellness and sickness, this day, this age. I have chosen for myself the title, School Health Program, A Jewel in Search of True Love. In this lecture, I intend to examine the concept of school and health, determinants of health status of school community members, before I voyage into examining the core issue of school health program, concept of school. Generally, a school is regarded as a place, institution, where teaching and learning takes place. Schools are of different types depending on the age of the learners, the emphasis on what type of learning should take place, and reason for its establishment. It is not the school on the air. The school is an avenue for socialization, acquisition of necessary evidence-based knowledge and skills for the good of the learner, the community, and the whole world at large. Victor Hugo noted, he who opens a school door closes a prison. Edgar W.O. also quoted us, if there were no schools to take the children away from home part of the time, insane asylums would be filled with mothers. In the context of this lecture, therefore, a school has a definite location, well structured and organized, and managed to provide learning spaces. Concept of health. There are so many views of what X is. As Sponge and Ezra 2013 recorded that Go 2002 stated that the Joint Committee on Health Education Terminology stated that health is an integrated method of functioning which is oriented towards maximizing the potential of which the individual is capable. It requires that the individual maintain a continuum where he or she is functioning. This concept is far more than being ill or sick. Sunderlal, Adash, and Pacha 2009 attested that health is difficult but easier to understand, as many people see it as absence of disease or infirmity, And to many, it may mean some body and some function of the body. Nevertheless, they believe the anatomists regard healthy body means conforming to normal anatomical structures. To physiology, it means normal body functions. A biochemist will see it as normal biochemical levels of values. A pathologist sees it as normal cellular makeup. A geneticist sees it as full realization of genetic potential. A clinician will see it as no abnormality in structure and function. A psychiatrist will see the healthy person as one that is well adjusted with balanced personality. It is good to know that when a clinician fails to detect abnormality in an individual, judging by clinical wisdom and laboratory tests, such a person is classified by the clinician as no abnormality detected. Hence, such a person will be discharged and will be told quietly by some hospital workers to go and feel later, that is, to go and beg the ancestral gods to release such a person from captivity. This audience may also consult Professor B.C. Wallis's 2013 inaugural lecture titled, "Is Physical Security Alone Enough for the Survival, Progress, and Happiness of Man?" Health is that ability of a person to live a life socially and economically acceptable to self and others at a particular period and within the context of one's environment and genetic makeup. Dimensions of health. There are various dimensions of health, which are physical dimension, emotional dimension, intellectual dimension, spiritual dimension, vocational stroke occupational dimension, environmental dimension, and social dimension. Determinants of health. Human biology. Under this is hereditary or genetic makeup, which determines so many things, including susceptibility to some non-communicable diseases like cancer, coronary diseases, diabetes, and renal disease. Environment. Many things affecting our health are outside our bodies. Environment are physical, e.g. temperature, water, light, wind, solar radiation, other pollutants, humidity that influences incidence of gastrointestinal problems, cancer, and severity of diseases. Biological, e.g. health promoting and damaging plants and animals. And social environment, e.g. place of worship, learning, recreation, which teach values, prescribe regulations that helps in our relationship, and provide support network that engulf, that are usually made available in times of need, e.g. during grief. Lifestyle, tobacco smoking, unsafe sexual life, poor eating habit, lack of exercise, poor medicine compliance, all have negative health consequences. Healthcare organization resources. Healthcare facilities with up-to-date equipment, commodities, coupled with well-qualified, motivated, and patients to clients-friendly workforce is essential for good health of the people in terms of treatment, health maintenance, restoration, happiness, and promotions. There are other factors which are reflected in figures 2, 1, and 2. A cursory look at figure 2 should tell us that our environment, behavior, health services, and heredity, in that descending orders, impact our health either positively or negatively. This is the bane of our country health situation, with worrisome health indicators, as we do often overlook our environment, our behavior, and focus more on health services. And this one too is not given the attention it deserves by government through low budget allocation. Let us remember that about 2 centuries ago, the doyen of nursing profession, Florence Nightingale, juxtaposed the state of health and all illness with that of the prevailing environment, and noted that our personal health can be impacted upon greatly by ventilation, diet, noise, light, cleanliness, and a restful bed. Behavior is so important in health studies generally, and in health education in particular. Therefore, it is instructive of me to document Obatrofar 1954 opinion to drive home my point. What Jana told the world about corpus is important knowledge, but important to the individual only if he uses that knowledge to become vaccinated. What's in ways told about the sanitation of the hospital ward saved the lives of thousands of mothers only when the sick room and surgery were made clean. What others have told us about development and metabolism and muscle becomes important only when we secure for youth an opportunity to run and climb and swim against a constantly confining and restricting sedentary world. Action is the thing. To live healthful, to practice what one knows, to do the scientific. That is the principal objective for which teaching exists. Behavior is more important than either knowledge or the elusive attitude, because without the action, the thought is impotent. Health continuum, wellness, illness. Our health can be positive or negative over a period of time, and that is why we say that health is dynamic. Whether in terms of physical, mental, or social dimension, even a day, our health status fluctuates, which make it ambiguous and mysterious, as we see this in cases of sudden death or state of comatose of people. To actually differentiate between health and wellness, Mix Mitchell and Hayes, 1987, explained that health is a quality of life that includes one's physical, mental, and social being. Wellness connotes achievement of possible highest level of health in each of the dimensions of health mentioned in slide 16. Wellness, illness continuum involves a continuous state of adjustment of these areas to one's heredity and environment. This can be seen in the following figures, 3A, 3B, and 4. The concept of school health program. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, we have examined the preceding pages in what looks like the airport formalities when we examine the concept of school and health, and we are now on board preparing to enjoy our flights. Component of school health program. Traditionally, the three major subdivisions or components of school health program are school health services, school health instruction, and healthful school environment. But in line with the National School Health Policy of 2006, the scope now covers healthful school environment, school feeding services, skill-based health education, school health services, school home and community relationship. A diagrammatic overview of school health program is as presented in figure 5 following. Healthful school environment. Environment is a key factor in all manners relating to human and animal health. A healthful school environment is that which takes care of the health as well as the safety of learners and other members of the school community. It has implications in all areas of school health. It addresses physical and aesthetic surroundings, psychosocial climate, and culture of the school community so that maximum benefit from education can be achieved. Oscar Wilde quotation on healthful school environment runs thus: school should be the most beautiful place in every town and village. So beautiful that the punishment for dutiful children should be barred from going to school the following day. Akone Ngenemen and Oru Amabo, 2001, claimed that long-standing suboptimal physical, mental, and emotional environments of elementary and high school have resulted in graduates with non-productive aptitude. For this to abate, school healthful environment must be addressed as the situation is getting worsening, especially in our public schools from primary to university. We are all witnesses of public schools without chairs, tables, windows, doors, toilet facilities, where short put in quote as a form of open defecation is a style used by teachers and learners, where each group takes a certain portion of expanse forest in the school land area or wait for one another where the area of land is limited. Most of our schools have overcrowded classrooms, ill-equipped laboratories, lack of simple first aid boxes, unkept school compounds, school without gates, or less security, leading to kidnapping of students. Figure 7 and 8 show some state of school environment in some schools. Looking at the psychosocial environment in our tertiary institutions in the country, a lot of self-inflicted stressors, apart from those from outside, are common in our institutions, including delay in promotion, unnecessary jealousy or rat race for appointments, which affect our behavior, leading to aggression, victimization, panic, depression, and poor productivity. The psychological or emotional environment in educational institutions involves relationship between staff and staff, student and staff, and student in their day-to-day activities. The case of Chibok girls that led to bring back our girls' movements all over the world, and not too long ago, kidnapping of students in Lagos State, are cases that sends panic to teachers, students, and parents. Cultism is also a worrisome issue for staff, students, and leaders of our educational institutions in Nigeria. It is also important to say a big thank you to ASU for the struggle that led to TED Fund and Needs Assessment Fund. It is unimaginable how our public tertiary institution, especially our university, would have been without these interventions. School feeding service. The school feeding service is a component of school health program that ensures safe, adequate diet are served in the school daily for staff and students under the supervision of school staff in terms of purchase of food items, storage, preparation, service, and after-service processes. Though it is through it, one adequate meal is served to each child on a school day, and which is safely prepared from locally produced food items. Figure 10 shows school children enjoying their meals and happy to be in school, while figures 11 and 12 show also and unwholesome school feeding services. Effective school feeding services indicators are feeding policy, good eating place, safe drinking water, well-managed school farm, adequate diet, prevention of nutrition-related diseases, food hygiene, table manner, and eating habit. Skill-based health education. Health education can be described as a concept, discipline, course of study, approach, method by which evidence-based health facts or information are made available to people to make informed decisions that will stimulate health attitudes and practices positively to promote personal and community health. Nevertheless, it should be noted that no health care, be it preventive or curative, is complete without a component of health education, and that whenever a program of health education or promotion is to be conceptualized, executed, monitored, and evaluated, the services of a university's trained specialists in health education is imperative. In the context of this lecture, school health education activities involve the teaching of health-related topics to promote desirable health attitude and practices among learners first and the entire school community members. Earlier, prior to 2006, this component was known as health instruction, hygiene, health science, health education. But now, according to National School Health Policy of 2006, it is skill-based health education. Health instruction, a part of skill-based health education, can be used to ensure that health facts are sequentially programmed for classroom instruction through the following: formal direct instruction, informal indirect instruction, which stands from formal instruction, which stands from correlated instruction, incidental instruction, integrated instruction, and miscellaneous instruction. What makes health education skill-based is in placing more emphasis now on skills through many learning activities in a participatory approach, in addition to health knowledge, attitude, and practices. For examples, learner must not be taught only on how to purify water, but must also be made to purify water. That is, practical component of learning is now to be taken more seriously in health education than before. Through this, healthy lifestyles are created and maintained in learners. In our Department of Human Kinetics and Health Education, the health education courses for B.Ed Health Education professional preparation of our students, apart from the general education and GES courses, are about 40 courses spread over the levels to meet up with the expected roles as school and community health educators. While at the postgraduate level, M.Ed and PhD, 3 areas of subspecialization exist: school and community health education, health and safety education, and curriculum instruction and evaluation in health education. Health education content knowledge base is from basic science, social science, basic medical sciences, health sciences, and education. It is designed to help people to live more effectively. School health service. School health service as a component of school health program provides for preventive and curative health care of the school population, although with emphasis on preventive care. It is important to say that the operation of school health services in many schools is lacking. Even many schools do not have well-stocked first aid boxes. One school health clinic or CBA is rare, and few ones having them are not well managed due to poor facilities and funds. Onyilade, Ogunkole Anorawowaju, 2014, Kolawole, 2015, Adebayo and Owoaje, 2016, noted in their findings from their various research efforts on satisfactory implementation of school health services in their study locations. Figure 13 shows various components of school health services. School, home, and community relationship. Right from our undergraduate days, I learned from sociology of education, one of foundation courses for Faculty of Education undergraduate students, that the school is part of the society, and both the home and the society influences happenings in each other. Moronkola and Ogumola, 2015, documented that a home where peace, trust, care, love, and support are scarce commodities will breed children who will be disciplinary issues in schools, as they are most likely to have relationship problems with other school members. Also, exposing children to war and other violent films, purchasing them toy guns, are not good ways to make them feel love, as this makes them to be readily used to cause troubles in their schools. My contribution to knowledge in the area of school health program. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, in the course of my career, my area of teaching, research, and consultancy revolves around the fields of health education, curriculum studies, higher education, and safety education, and school health program interface with all of them. Earlier in this lecture, I examined the component of school health program and portrayed the status as not sharing. I am now proceeding to report some of my publications and findings that have implications for academic and general well-being of school community members under each component of school health program. Skill-based health education, disability for health education teaching and teacher preparation. Moronkola, 1999, 2007, 2011, argued that health education of citizens is a cheap approach to prevent diseases, and since health education in school setting can be diffused into the community, it should be a core subject at all levels of education, and teachers must be adequately prepared for it. Falaye and Moronkola, 1999, in summary of their findings, reported that parents have positive attitude towards the teaching of sexuality education, but they prefer female health education teachers or workers in school settings to do so. Alcohol, tobacco, drug education, and mental health. Knowledge of effects of alcohol, tobacco, and other psychoactive drugs is important. Moronkola, 2006, documented that tobacco industry marketing strategies promote tobacco smoking to symbolize youthfulness, fitness, success, and well-being, which are at variance to actual health consequences of voluntary and involuntary tobacco smokers. Moronkola and Onoa, 1997, Moronkola and Akitarinwa, 2003, Moronkola and Laki and Okola, 2004, and Moronkola and Onibokun, 2005, found that knowledge of health consequences of tobacco use among university students, athletes, and among student nurses was below expectation, while Moronkola, 2001, found no gender difference in level of knowledge of psychoactive substances, and both male and female undergraduates show attitude reflecting non-approval of psychoactive drug use. Also, Moronkola and Ogunyemi, 2002, reported that only 67.8% responses of sample University of Ibadan students depicted knowledge of what constitutes mental illness, and 27.3% of the responses depicted them having positive attitude towards mental illness. Sexuality issue. The need for knowledge of what sexuality is in clear terms, especially for young people, is very important. Moronkola and Idris, 2000, Moronkola and Osho, 2001, Moronkola and Fakeye, 2009, studies among secondary school students, Moronkola and Odubo, 2001, Moronkola and Adio Moses, 2003, Moronkola and Moso and Okoko, 2005, Moronkola and Father Iro, 2007 studies among university students, Moronkola and Okpeze, 2003, study among polytechnic students, Moronkola and Uzuebu, 2006 research among student nurses, Moronkola and Adede Sonyes, 2006, study among female tertiary institution students, Moronkola and Oyebami, 2007, report among female athletes, reveal low sexual health knowledge, poor attitude among study participants, and many engage in risky sexual behavior, including abortion and commercial sex work, which led the researcher to call for teaching of health education as school subject that includes sexuality education. Healthful school environment. Healthful school living environment is a strong factor in ensuring strong academic achievement of learners and making them lovers of environment wherever they find themselves in future. Staff also need conducive working environment to fast-track high productivity. My modest contributions are reflected in the following publication. Moronkola and Oloyede 1997 reported that young Imperial College students reported that issues relating to their academic pursuit and uncertainty about future job constituted mental health problems to them. In a study by Moronkola and Musa 1999 on comparative study of stress among bankers, nurses, and teachers, they found that psychologically the teachers were the worst hit, which means their productivity and relationship with learners may be compromised. Moronkola and Momo, 2003, noted that intramural sport program contributes to physical, mental, and social health of students, which indirectly is one of the ways to promote the school healthful environment. Moronkola 2004 also reported that majority of the postgraduate students in a study believe that academic study in the academic calendar of tertiary institutions in Nigeria can give little room for recreation, and that recreational facilities were inadequate and poorly maintained. They asserted that restiveness and rowdiness on campuses in Nigeria may not be unconnected with inability of students to recreate. In Moronkola 2005 publication on morality and psychological health issues in contemporary dressing of female students in tertiary institutions in Nigeria, argument was made that although it is criminal and uncivilized to assault a woman for any reason, it should be noted by ladies and women folk generally that in line with various religious persuasion and African culture, despite modernity, exhibitionism is a psychosexual disorder needing a psychiatrist's intervention. And flaunting erotic parts of the body by female students in tertiary institutions may make male staff and students prone to some degree of mild psychological disorders. Figures 14 and 15 show indecent dressing of some female undergraduates. School feeding services. Good or sound nutrition is an essential input for good health, and adequate diet stand out a significant factor in health of all ages. In a study among graduating teacher trainees in University of Ibadan, Moronkola and Azuogu 2005, based on their findings, found that teacher trainees had knowledge about few nutrition facts and negative attitudes towards sound nutrition, sound nutritional practices, and their choices of food were strongly determined by finance and availability of food. This led to the conclusion that the university needs to put in place supervision of various food services, outlets, and nutrition education. School, home, and community relationship. Moronkola 1993 argued that though the school is an excellent forum for drug education activities, nevertheless, others like the law enforcement agencies, homes, health institutions, mass media, religious organizations should adopt team approach in drug education effort in the country, and all should be involved in addressing drug misuse and abuse problems in schools. Falaya Moronkola 1999 study revealed that more parents favor inclusion of sexuality education, and the most favored content areas the desired school should teach were abstinence and sexually transmitted diseases, including AIDS. Moronkola and Ayola 2003 descriptive study of spouse abuse among secondary school students in Ibadan, prevention and rehabilitation strategies as reflected in Table 2. The respondents confessed that the abuse situation was affecting their productivity, as teachers and fellow teachers cover up their low productivity by doing extra work. It was also revealed that the female teachers were more abused than the male teachers. While abused female teachers shared their domestic problems with friends, sought spiritual help, ironically, abused male teachers on several occasions sought for extramarital relationships and consumed alcohol as a form of defense mechanisms. Moronkola and Ekundayo 2006 In another cross-sectional descriptive study on patterns of spousal abuse as perceived by female-led workers in Ibadan, findings are as reflected in tables 3, 4, and 5. In it all, the respondents suffer many patterns of abuses from their husband. The major one was psychosexual abuse. Care not whether wife enjoys sex, 32.3%. Verbal abuse shouted at, 35.3%. Emotional abuse, failed to sleep at home, 13.3%. Humiliation in the presence of children, 22%. And physical abuse, that is slap me, 22%. Major perceived reasons for abuse from husband were family finance and sexual life. Major coping strategies were prayer and speak less with husband. Male children from these elite homes are likely to be bullied, and female ones may be fearful of boys or introverts in schools. They may relate poorly in group work and have warped personalities. School health services. My research efforts on adolescent sexuality, earlier review in the area of their cognition of sexuality issues, also revealed that they require youth-friendly services that will address their various sexual health needs. In Moronkola, over 2,000 studies of pains among University of Ibadan students, perceived etiological factors and healthcare seeking behavior, we found that only 17.6% of respondents claimed that they did not experience pain, and those who did experience it in the legs, backs, and waist, as well as, and stress was perceived as the major etiological factor. Finally, in this aspect, Moronkola and Obi-Chima's 2010 study on the determinants of utilization on university health services among students of University of Ibadan was more rewarding to me. The conceptualization of the study was based on my experiences as former subdean undergraduate, assistant warden, and warden, as well as my service to this university as member board of health. Our results revealed that professional competence, long waiting time, high cost of care, and negative attitude of health workers were significant determinants of poor utilization of health services at the center by students. Based on our findings, among others, we recommended the need to educate students to access care at University Health Services Center. Government and the university should introduce NHIs for students, University Health Service to reduce waiting time, and health workers should improve their attitude toward the student when they access health care. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I felt extremely happy some years back when one day the dynamic soft-spoken director of our health services called me in on phone and requested for a copy of the journal where our findings were reported. According to him, he needed to use it as his workers' meeting or retreat. Whether the request for the article was coincidental or not, many who access healthcare at Jaja can attest that the services has greatly improved, but it can still be better. Let me also use this platform to commend the Director of Health Services, Dr. O. Akimbola, and Dr. A.O. Aluashano, the officer in charge of Workplace Wellness Program, and other officers for the wonderful in taking health care to offices of workers in this university. The university management is also appreciated for expansion in facilities and services at the University Health Service Center, my community service on school health program. As a lead consultant to facilitator to WAEC on its health science syllabus revision a few years ago, our suggestion of changing health science to health education in Nigeria as a subject and secondary school certificate examination was approved and operational in 2016. Also, I work with my team members to give examples of how questions can reflect that the students were exposed to skill-based health education content area. I was among notable academicians, technocrats, UNICEF staff who developed the National School Health Policy and Implementation Guidelines or National School Health Program in 2006 for Nigeria. Member, National Implementation Committee on School Health Program in Nigeria, consultant stroke facilitator on health education programs, curriculum and book development for UNICEF, Federal Ministry of Education, Nigeria Education Research and Development Council, Abuja, Superb, Oyo State, Fellow of Nigerian School Health Association, and is national president for the past 5 years. Editor-in-chief of Nigerian Journal of Public Health, School Health Program as a jewel. Vice Chancellor, sir, Without mixing words, from all my submission thus far, it is convincing that school health program is a jewel. Nevertheless, it is still worth documenting that this is so when one looks at some of the various potential contributions of components of school health as reflected in the following slides. Healthful school environment. Children who learn under safe and conducive learning environment will be able to concentrate and do well in academics and social life of the school. Children in well-built school with aesthetic touch will imbibe culture of respect to public facilities, even during national tension later in life. Opportunities to have active lifestyles in school through sport will later in life prevent hypokinetic diseases and promote general health. School feeding services. Ensuring each child have at least opportunity to eat one adequate meal a day. Ensuring high school enrollment, retention, completion, and promotion of health. Participation in school farm activities in line with homegrown school feeding program will make learners to respect dignity of labor and contribute to food security. Food-related diseases like protein energy malnutrition, short-term hunger, anorexia nervosa, and pellagra occurrence among learners are minimized. Skill-based health education. Learners empowered with evidence-based health facts capable of influencing them to have healthy attitude and practices, and this will make learners to serve as change agents with attendant multiplier effects in their communities. Children are from diverse homes with positive or health influences. When the school teaches health to learners, they are to a large extent equipped with facts that will not make them easily susceptible to peer pressure on drug misuse, premarital sex. Most parents have less time for their children, and health teachers are more likely to be current on health matters than parents. The school therefore helps the child to keep pace with current health knowledge. School health services prevent spread of communicable diseases within the school and the community. Facilitate early detections of defects and other ill health conditions, and ensuring appropriate referral are made. School, home, and community relationship. Encouraging and strengthening win-win approach in matters relating to school health program and other issues between the school and community. Facilitating parents' opportunity to benefit from health programs in the school setting, and at the same time, monitoring academic achievement of learners. Conclusion and recommendation. Through the grace of God, I have humbly explained to this audience the concept and contribution of school health program through its component to school and community health, by inference, also justify while it is a jewel. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, who does not like and love good things, as we are now descending to land, I therefore ask you, this great audience, who with their few cogent points raised in this lecture, and those who will come in contact with this lecture booklet, to show your true love to school health program by supporting as well as take action on this recommendation. Health education must be seen as a core subject that must be on the timetable of pre-primary, primary, and post-primary institution and tertiary institution. Apart from being a field of study, it must be a GS course that harmonizes all potential issues confronting adolescents and young people health. Employment of at least one health education teacher in each school and revolve all school health program around him or her for sustainability of such program. There is need for more professional preparation of BA, BSc degree holders in health education in faculties of education in line with NUCB Mass of 2007 and 2014 document in universities in Nigeria. School facilities must be improved upon in our schools. Adopting a public school and donation of buildings, toilet facilities, tables, chairs, painting, planting of flowers goes a long way in promoting healthful school environment or aesthetic outlook of our students. The age-long rivalry between federal and state ministry of education and health on issues of school health program need to be resolved in the interest of school community members and service to God through humanity. All should be conscious and face the reality that all school health initiative, intervention from individuals, NGO, donor agencies, government on matters of school health can only succeed if it revolves around the health teacher, who is the major catalyst that should always be present and it costs less to maintain school health personnel. Special attention to special educational and health needs of children with disability in school. The state and federal government should know that if the orchestrated school feeding program will be sustainable, in line with the principle of Grown School Feeding Program, it is important that corruption must be avoided. Also, schools and community must engage in at least stable food production. Parents of learners in public and private schools should support schools in various ways that will promote academic, social lives, as well as health conditions of learner and school staff. Speedy completion of the new Faculty of Education building by the university management will give staff and students a congenial environment to work and study, thereby greatly promoting school healthful environment in our Faculty of Education. Acknowledgements. I acknowledge that I am what I am today through the grace and mercy of God Almighty. May His grace over my life and that of my family continues. Appreciation goes to my late father, Paola Diupo Stephen Moronkola, and Mama Grace Ajibike Moronkola of Ile Oniteshin and Ile Baasi, respectively, in Awe, Afijo local government area of Oyo State, where we eat dead chicken, for their sacrifices to give all the 7 children sound academic, moral, and Christian education by fire, by force. By fire, by force. I appreciate my father's closest relative, seated there, Chief and Chief Mrs. J.O. Opatola from Awe, for standing by us when my father was alive and after his death. My siblings, Mrs. Olufunmilayo Ellen Dada, Mrs. Olaitan Bosede Adejinle, Mr. Olatunde Moronkola, Mr. Olatoyosi Moronkola, Mrs. Olabisi Faniran, and Mr. Olatubosun Alex Moronkola, and their spouses. I say thank you for your care and support over the years. My late parents-in-law, Paye Ajani, and Deaconess Omotoyosi Ajani, are appreciated for releasing their godly, well-trained, amiable first daughter to me as my loving wife and my jewel. Thank you, Mr. and Deaconess Akanwo of Olupono, for your love and care over us and our junior ones, Mrs. Shola Owoyinfa, Mr. David Ajani, Dr. Olumide Ajani, Mr. Benga Ajani, and their spouses. I thank former vice chancellors, Professors Falashe, Bamiro, and Adewale for various appointments they extended to me in the university. Professor E.A. Bamigboye, former DC administration, Professor Adigun Agbaje, former DVC academic, Professor A.E. Valaye, former dean of students. Thank you for your advice, intervention in meeting a need of the family some years back. Vice Chancellor, Professor A. Olayinka, thank you for your unceasing interest in my family since the time my wife wanted to register a PhD abstract at the postgraduate school and other events of life. DVC administration, Professor Ye Ayelari, thank you for the friendship and your magnanimity in leading the old wardens in the university. Professor Yinka Aderinto, DVC academic, aka Walesi. Professor Nike Adeyemo, DVC Research Innovation Strategic Partnership. To both of you, I say thank you for the love and friendship. To my whole-time friend, Mr. Jimmy Olukoya, Registrar, thank you for serving as one of my referees when I sought appointment to this university and standing by my very young family in the period of need during the birth of our first baby when both of us were staff of Federal College of Education, Special Oyo. Special thanks to all my teachers from primaries to university, especially those who retired days from this university. Late Professor J. Adejeje, first HOD, Professor C. Odo, former head of our department and Dean of Education, who supervised my HealthMed project and PhD thesis. Late Professor J. Ajala, former head, Department of Human Kinetics and Health Education, and Dean of Education, who supervised my first degree project. I also registered my appreciation to late Professor Latif Amusa, Professor Veronica Igbanugo, Professor Yomi Awoshika, Lisbeth Nwanko, Femi Owolabi Atolagbe, and Dr. Eli Heke. To all academic staff of our Department of Human Kinetics and Health Education, starting from our HOD, Professor Heme Ajayi, Professors Ogundele, Ashagba, Murakinyo, Babalola, Abbas Adigbeson, Padoju, Omolawon, Doctors Anyanwo, Adiomusis, Akinwusi, Odelola, Famuyiwa Antoyin Jayoba, as well as all administrative staff and all our students in the department. Thank you for all your care and support. I thank the entire staff and students of the Faculty of Education for support I received to serve as Dean. I deeply register my appreciation for Edu for Life Group, notable among them, Professors Ademokoya, Akinwumi, Fadoju, Dr. Sky Abiono, Anyao, Maje Kajala, Ruth Adio Moses, J. Odelola, Famuiwa, Tom Akinwusi, Lydia Olale, Kelechi Lachoras, I am Ojedokun, Adelodo, and so on, for being my team during my deanship ambition. I will forever be grateful. Former deans of our faculties, as listed, are appreciated for their contribution to our faculty. Emeritus Professor Bayan and Omole were appreciated for their leadership and mentorship. Current Dean of Education, Professor M.K. Akishola, who is also my friend, all past and current heads of department, staff and students, as well as past and current Director of Institute of Education, staff and students are warmly appreciated. The effort of Faculty of Education Inaugural Committee is commendable. Spiritually, I thank the President of Nigerian Baptist Convention and President Christian Association of Nigeria for the love and friendship over the years. Bishop and Mrs. Wale Oke of Christ Life Church Ibadan for opportunity to serve on board of their NGO, Professor Kayode Adeshogun, Professor Deacon and Dr. and Mrs. Eogunkule, Professor Deacon and Mrs. G.O. Adeoye. I appreciate your interest and spiritual mentorship since my undergraduate days. My pastor, Reverend Dr. N.A. Aremu, Reverend and Samson Akonde, Reverend Professor and Mrs. Dejayiboyin, other pastors, deacons, deaconesses, and entire members of Shalom Baptist Church, Orogun, Ibadan. Thank you for inspiring messages and love of Christ that binds us together. Reverend and Dr. Mrs. Falade, Reverend and Mrs. Akon, Pastor Remi Bamidele, Reverend Shegun Adebowale, thank you all for the love. The BSFA, UI, NIFES Services UI, FECOF, National and International, Full Gospel Business Fellowship Orogun Chapter, NIFES Family, Glory Family Fellowship of Shalom Baptist Church Orogun Ibadan, Elder Oponi and members of our Ajibode Christian community, I say a big thank you. On spiritual notes, I thank the Honorable Commissioner for Education of Oyo State, Professor Luofela and Honorable Commissioner for Health, Dr. Iya Adedudu, Professor Matthews Ojo, and the entire Bowen University family. Thank you very much. I appreciate the Our Forum, the Dead Chicken Eaters, University of Ibadan, under the leadership of Professor A.C. Odebody. I thank those who I work with when I serve as assistant warden at Ababa Menwa Hall, Warden Independence Hall, and now All Master Kuti Hall. I appreciate my former doctoral students, including Professor A. Sanusi, University of Ilorin, Professor Boye Omonu, IBB University Lapai, Drs. J.O. Odelola, Famu Iwa and Ojedokun, who are now my colleagues in Faculty of Education, University of Ibadan, and Dr. Biola Ojo of Lee City University, Ibadan, Professor J. Ademokoya, Engineer Dikin Kola Idowu, Professor Wale Olatokun, Professor Dele Jagede, Professor A. Harry Alada, Professor C. A. Ajibola, Professor Ademola Ajiwon, Dr. J. Telu Aminti Ekeke, Dr. Fumilayo Okanlawon, and Dr. Fred Oshinami, Professor Kale Sanwo, Mr. Dipo Yusuf, Controller of Prison Oyo State, Mr. Bosun Afolabi, Mr. H. Pentola, the Registrar Polytechnic Ibadan, for being true trusted friends at all times. Professor Amama J. Faniran, late Professor and Professor Mrs. J. T. Okidara, my late parents-in-law friends for their sustained interest in my family. Friends for their sustained, Professor Amama Bankole for interest and mentorship when my young family moved from Oyo to Ibadan. Earth is wet. My appreciation goes to staff of our university services, especially the Director of Health Services, Dr. O. Akimbola, Dr. Solu Ashanu, Aderonke Ajav, Jalili Bello, Dada, and other staff for caring for my family's. To Professor Luremi Ayodele Bamisaye, I say thank you for the mentorship, fostering unity, and the healing sought in Faculty of Education. Mr. Tunde Awokunle, Zonal Coordinator, WAEC Office Ibadan, and other old friends of Oyo State College of Education from Federal College of Education Special Oyo are well appreciation. My appreciation goes to all the executives and members of Nigerian School Health Association, especially those present here today, as far as Bayelsa State, where I serve as the National President, the President, Professor M.C. Asusu, and other executives and members of Society for Public Health Professionals in Nigeria, where I serve as Editor-Chief, are appreciated. Special appreciation goes to Mr. J. J. Dada of Federal Ministry of Education, Dr. Ileri of NRDC Abuja, and others for platform to contribute to Square program at national level. I express my deep appreciation to academic staff of Department of Human Kinetics and Health Education in University in Nigeria, especially those in Lagos, Ojo Lagos, Agowoyi, Ikiti, Ife, Ijebu Ode, Calabar, and Benin City. It is with deep sense of responsibility and tribute to late Professor J.A. Ajala, one of my great mentors, that acknowledged the presence of his dear wife, Professor Mrs. Victoria Ajala, who recently lost her husband. But despite my plea to her not to bother to come for this lecture, she insisted to be present because that was the wish of her husband, and she must respect the wish of her JA. Professor Mrs. Ajala, will you stand up for recognition? It is of the utmost importance that I recognize the Department of Chemistry, the head professor A.A. Adesomoju, other professors, staff, and students where my wife works for your love to my family. The Bible says, if we say we have no sin, there is no truth in us, and we make God a liar. I know there are many people I should acknowledge, but since it's only God that is perfect, our memory can fail sometimes. For those whose names I fail to mention in this lecture or in the booklet, kindly know that God recognizes you and duly accepts my sincere apology. To my immediate family, what a wonderful God we serve. About 30 years ago, in this same Trenchard Hall, I came for the first time with young Olufunke as master degree students in love for Obafemi Awolowo Postgraduate Ordinary, where I serve as Information and Publicity Minister. But today in this same hall, through God's providence, we have with us 3 wonderful children. Olubola and Victor Akanbi Moronkola, Olubukola Victoria Arike Moronkola, and Olufola and Shalom Akanji Moronkola, gracing this occasion with us. To God be the glory. I say to you again this same hall, in the presence of all, that you, Dr. Dokas Olufunke, you are my love and my jewel. To God be the glory. I thank all those who, one way or the other, contribute to the success of today, especially you, your wonderful audience, for sparing me a whole 1 hour to share with you my humble academic contribution built over time. Remember, keep promoting school health program in Nigeria. Finally, I commit you all to him who is able to do immeasurable, more than all that you can ask for or imagine, according to his power that is at work within you through Jesus Christ, my Lord. Thank you all for making today memorable. God bless you all.